Hey everyone, so I'm making this video in order to inspire and educate and motivate you guys. So if you do nothing else, I really hope you take some sort of action from something you learned in this video. I'm sure it's going to be jam-packed with stuff. So, you know, I've been learning and growing and really just developing myself to become the best person I can. And one thing I do a lot is I read and um, I've been listening to a few podcasts on success where there's this one podcast called Addicted to Success, and the man who owns the podcast interviews very successful people. And it's just very interesting all the things I pick up from reading or these sort of content. For instance, apparently they did a study on the about 100 really wealthy individuals, and you ended up finding three core foundational habits that all these wealthy individuals did. And if you want like a denser version, you can Google it. If you want a really dense version that's related but not related to this experiment, you can read the book The Millionaire Next Door, a great book. But the three foundations were one was they devoted at least an hour a day, and again, you can work up to it. You should work up to it. If you're like a person who doesn't lift weights at all, and you just go to a gym and just start lifting, 50-pound weights for an hour, you're gonna hurt yourself. So do 5-10 minutes. Start off and baby step it. But they do at least an hour of learning every day through audiobooks, actual books, or something else. The second thing that they do is they devote at least half an hour every other day to exercise. And what you find is that exercise oftentimes gives you more energy. It does give you more energy the more you exercise, rather than what some people, especially people who've never exercised, they think like if you exercise you'll be drained. It's kind of weird, but if you've ever like gone through a jog, and after like the first month, it's kind of eerie how you're more like energized after the jog, after if it's become a habit and you've been doing it for a month consistently. The third thing is let me think. So there's learning about yourself. There was the third thing is connecting. They oftentimes were good, very good at networking, and they were good at connecting with people worth connecting with. And having that network has enormous effects, and it can lead to a bunch of things. They may know someone that can help you, or that person may know someone that you would love to meet, or has valuable information, or is related to helping you with your job. Networking is amazing. So that's obviously something I need to work on. But those are the three things, and that's just an example to give you of this kind of stuff you can start learning if you just take the time to do this. And so this video is basically just on the whole idea about living in the moment and really appreciating and being happy in the moment. Now, some people take this to too big an extreme, where they just like spend all their time in the present. But I was never that sort of person. And actually, today I heard a quote in the podcast that was very similar to a lot of other stuff I've heard, but slightly different. And it was by this Roman philosopher called Seneca. And to paraphrase what he said, you should live in the present moment, because you can't change the past, and the future is unknown. And all you have right now is the present. And there's different interpretations of that. And the podcast, the interviewee, he was a YouTube star who had 150,000 subscribers. Not super amazing, but more than I have. And he interpreted it in a way where he said that, well, if you read that quote, you realize that you don't know when your next moment is, and you don't know what the future holds either. So you shouldn't worry about the future. I wouldn't take it that far, but I do believe in the whole thing about you don't know what, as he says, when your last breath is going to be. And this is one of those things that's scary as hell, but it's so true. And it's that thing where, there's so many unknowns in the world, so many things that can happen to you that are out of your control. Chance events like airplane crashes, not to scare you or anything, but getting cancer, uh, some unknown disease or rare disease, getting stabbed, getting shots at a bank robbery, uh, weird things, political things, uh, all sorts of stuff. Car crashes are actually more probable than airplane crashes. So each time you get in your car, that's like one of your probably your biggest dangers. And people misweight this and they don't realize it. And it's kind of scary because you don't know. Like a lot of people live like they are guaranteed another 30, 40, 50 years. And that's not always the case. There's plenty of people who have died at 10, 20, 30, and they acted like they would live forever. And it's one of those things where it does not discriminate whether or not you're exceptionally wealthy or exceptionally poor, rich, male, female, whatever ethnicity. And the best example is the billionaire who he started this technology company that was called Akamai, and it was going to be like people called him the next Steve Jobs. And he was a billionaire already, and he was in his I think early 30s, and he boarded the plane on September 11th, 2001, to one of those destinations that the terrorists took over and hijacked the plane, and he was apparently one of the first to die. And so it's one of those things like you'd never know, and that's I think the point of that is to really make the most of your present moment, but also not to the extreme though, where I think this is my own interpretation of it, because you don't want to. I see plenty of other people, very youthful people, who are on the opposite side of the extreme, where they only live for the present, and they party and drink, and they fail their grades, and they do drugs, and they're living for the present, and then their future is screwed over. And again, like, if that's you and you're wanting to change, like, it's not impossible. I've seen people in their mid-20s, 30s, very amazing success stories where they have changed their lives completely. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's possible, but you don't want to get to that other extreme where it's just like you are just too much on that side. And so you have those two extremes, and so I guess the medium that you want is something in the middle where you relish the present, you enjoy the present, you're thankful for the present, and at the same time you're actually there. You're not daydreaming of the future constantly, because these moments are moments that you will never get back. And if you're constantly thinking about the future, all of a sudden you're going to be 50 years old and all the time has flown by and you're too focused on the future. On the other extreme, you don't want to be that guy who's like constantly in the present, never really taking any time to set goals or progress or achieve success and set plans for the future to achieve where you want to go, and work hard and all that other stuff. So that's all I really want to say. And I think what I'm planning on doing is releasing a shorter version that's intended to be a part 2 to this video, where I talk about my own experiences. But it's intended to be a short version, because I want to test things out. A lot of people only view videos that are like 2 minutes long. They don't have the attention span, and I just want to get to the nitty gritty of how it relates to my own life. So stay tuned for that. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. If you like this video, leave it a like, and share this video with someone you think would be interested by it. And hit the subscribe button to let you know when my next video comes out. Thanks so much for watching.